You know what really jimmies my jangles? Deciding how I'm going to paint a brand new army. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's video. This year, myself and Lloyd, aka the painting coach, thought we would add a little bit of a unique twist to the new year, new army concept, in by the way of picking the other person's army for them without them knowing. And we ended up getting an absolutely cracking combination of the Guard and the Tyranids. Haven't seen that video already? Click up here. And if you have, you might remember me saying this. I think I have landed on a theme of the black and yellow. Yeah, so I changed my mind. I'm going to tell you exactly what changed my mind. Okay, I'm going to rewind time a little bit to January. I went over to see my friend Callum, and whilst we were over there in Canada, we got to spend a few days at the mini wargaming vault. Now in that time, I got to actually play a game against Scary, Guard versus the Tyranids, and it's fair to say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll link the video here and you can see how that game went. I was given Matthew's beautiful Tyranids and I immediately fell in love with this scheme. It was just, oh. There's the one for the video. Now there are 3 rules for me when it comes to deciding how to paint an army. Number 1, the rule of cool. It needs to look cool. Matt's army, check that box. 1 out of 1. The next thing it needs to do is number 2, and that is it easy to replicate? Can I do this paint scheme across lots of different models? Because there are quite a few of them. I'm gonna have to do this process lots and lots of times. And number 3 is, number 3. Well, I can't remember what number 3 was, but realistically, there's 2. Does it look cool? Is it easy to do? This was checking off both of the boxes. So in this video, I'm going to take you through me painting up this bad boy. This is one I had a while ago. This is an X-Cream model with its giant gun. And I'm gonna paint this in the new scheme that Matt helped me with so much. So let's get painting. First step for painting up these bad boys. I'm gonna use my airbrush here and I'm just gonna be using some matte primer. Now, if you don't have an airbrush, don't worry, you don't need it. You could literally just use a rattle can to do this part. Let's get spraying. All right, so the next step that I'm gonna be doing, a technique called zenithaling or slap chop. Now, it is a very, very simple process and it allows you to paint up models to an extremely high degree with not a huge amount of effort. You're going to rub most of the paint off the brush. So you're just literally gonna move it around until there's barely any on the brush itself. And what I usually use is the back of my hand right here, just to see how much paint is coming off it. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the entire model in that style, so just dry brushing it on. And what that's gonna do is that's going to highlight the highest points of the model, because as I'm dry brushing, it's only gonna touch the highest points of the model, and you're basically creating light and contour. Very, very quick one as well. You'll notice that I didn't actually strip any of these models, so this one was fully painted, and the 3 Von Ryan's Leapers were also painted. That is another fantastic tip that I would give you. The reason why I was able to do that is because I used my paints very thinly whenever I was painting those models up before. In other words, I was using a little bit more water. That keeps your paints nice and thin, which means they're much easier to work with. And also it means you can do stuff like that without losing any of the detail when I was priming. And I can see that I haven't lost any of the details in these models. Thin your paints, highly, highly advise that. Oh, it's a new day. Now, how do I see? As you can see, I have dry brushed the X-Cream quite heavily now. I'm going to probably apply another light dry brushing of white onto the skin just to really make it pop. And then the next step is going to be applying this bad boy right here. Okay, I have now finished with the Plague Bearer Flesh, and I've also finished with Cariberic Crimson. And that was not actually in as many places as I thought. I've kind of put it around like the jaw, around pipes, and I'm waiting for some of the areas to dry so I can add it to there as well. You'll see where I add it to after this. But I've now started on the Dark Angels contrast on the chitin. That Zenithal, as you can see the way there's different values in the green? That's what the dry brushing stage before this, that's what that did. So you'll see that there's just that little bit of variation. That's why that dry brushing and the contrast paint is just an incredible combo. I'm enjoying this. Referencing the scheme that Matt has done, it calls for this bad boy on the cannon. Let's get painting this gun. Let's get painting this gun. Whew, that is a nice color. It works so well with the green. I just had to share this moment with you. You know you're painting something gross when while you're painting it, you're kind of looking at it like, ugh. Yeah, same visceral reaction. Nailed it. Okay, so I have now gotten quite far into this model, and I cannot stress how enjoyable this scheme is. It is so simplistic. It really gives you a sense of momentum in a few very short, very simple stages. So here we can see I've got all the Dark Angels contrast on the shell, and then I've also had the Carabao Crimson to the joints, the kind of like knuckles, and any joints as well. Yeah, it just makes it look more alive, I think. It ties the colors in nicely. But next, it will be a case of dry brushing the carapace, the chitin over the top of it with this, and I'll just brush it in this direction. And this will pretty much be it done. So yeah, really happy with this. Looks cool, makes me want to be sick a little bit. So I think that's a good sign for Tyranids. I have now dry brushed on with that moot green. So I think the last few touches are just going to be on the little eyeballs and vents on the gun. And I think I'm going to do that with maybe the Aethermatic Blue. I'm still not decided yet. I wanted to stand out. I might do it with the Crimsonberg. Let me know in the comments what you would go with. But yeah, I think it's just then just the teeth. I want to tidy up the teeth a little bit more and then just dot the eyes. But other than that, I'm calling it done. Guys, we just reached 5,000 subscribers on this channel. That's truly mind-blowing, and I thought, what a better opportunity than now to allow you guys to give me some money. I decided to set up a Patreon, and if you guys fancy helping me make this something that I can do consistently, it would mean so much to me for as little as a paint from Citadel. Link to the Patreon is linked below. Go click it. Go on, click it, click it. There we go. I feel like at this point I am done with the Exocrine. So I'm actually really, really happy with that. Next, I need to sort out this base. This is the base it came on. I was gonna scrape this all off, but I figured I could probably just paint this to a similar color that this would achieve anyway. And then I wash it with Agrax Earthshade and then I dry brush it back up. So that's what I'm gonna do next. And that will be then the model finished. Okay, the Exocrine is now completely finished. My chunky boy is finally able to shoot some brand new models with his brand new paint scheme. I honestly really loved this paint scheme. I just think it's so natural, so organic. And it really just, honestly, it's just unsettling. Like, look at that thing. That is absolutely haunting. So I'm really, really happy with that. I've actually got a couple of models in my Tyranid range already, so I'm probably gonna do the exact same thing I've done with this guy to the other ones as well, including one of my favorite models, the Tyrannifex. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let's do a very quick summary. Number one, go with the rule of cool when it comes to painting your new army. It's your army at the end of the day. It needs to look cool to you. Number two, make sure the scheme that you're picking is easy for you to replicate and do over and over again, because you're gonna have to do a lot of models unless you pick something like the Custodes. And number three, I actually remembered this time, do a test model. I cannot advise this highly enough. Test out the scheme that you're going to potentially do and see how enjoyable and practical the actual scheme is. I just want to say a massive thank you to Matt from Mini Wargaming. Without him sending me all the information on how to paint this scheme, I would have still probably been trying to do this, and I wouldn't have been enjoying this project half as much as I am right now. I've also got a link to the full video of him painting his Tyranids, so I'd highly advise you check that out. If you want a full in-depth breakdown, which honestly, the video is fantastic, check it out up here. Matt, thank you so much for allowing me to use your models, but also helping me with this scheme. So I would love to know your feedback on this video. Did you like the paint scheme? What did you think of the old one? And also, what is the thing that really jimmies your jangles when you're starting a brand new army? Is it building the list? Is it painting? Is it the idea of getting into a battle? Let me know. I also ordered something for the next video. Just arrived today, and this is what the next part of the video series is going to be, building a list. Do I go with big heavy monsters, or do I go with loads and loads of small gribblies? Let me know in the comments below what you think I would enjoy the most, and I hope you have a bloody marvelous day. I'm out. Oh yeah, subscribe as well. Also do that, and like the video. If you could like the video, I'd really appreciate that too. Bye.